Welcome to the Scrumptious Unscripted Game of Thrones podcast. This week we're discussing The House of Black and White, episode 2 in season 5 of Game of Thrones. I'm your host, Kat, and with me as always is Mr. Pappy.
Hello.
Hello. So let's jump right in.
Yeah, so let's jump right in with titling our episode the least amount of screen time in the episode. We start with Arya Stark doing something for 30 seconds, and then we cut off to everyone else for 55 minutes. What did you think?
Well, I thought it was an aptly named episode because the first scene was a house that had black and white, and that's about it.
Yep.
Relevance over. There you go.
We weren't lying. That's the house.
Yep, there it is. See, it has a black door and a white door. Good day. So
now
yeah.
Let's go check in with your wonderful, wonderful girl.
The Jolly Green Giant.
Brienne of Tarth. So what'd you think? I'm kind of glad they didn't do that whole from last episode where they just, accidentally crossed paths and that was the end of it. I like that they could just continue to accidentally stalking Sansa Stark.
I did like the follow through because I was like, and we'd have to boot up Craigslist Westeros and
missed connections.
Missed connections. Has anyone seen this girl? To that effect, though, it took me until maybe about half of Sansa's screen time in this episode to realize she's got, shoe polish in her hair.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Well, I don't know if that's what it is, but it was just why is your hair black instead of red? Oh, incognito. I get it.
It's the time-honored television tradition where if you dye your hair and change nothing else about you, no one will know who you are.
Yeah, it's like putting on a fake mustache.
Yeah. No, it totally changes me.
Yeah, or glasses.
Same with the
equally
superheroes,
effective, yeah.
The superhero, I'm just going to wear a bandana around my eyes. Nothing else. No one will ever know it's me.
I just felt like a total idiot, though.
It wasn't until Podrick pointed it out that you were like, oh, yeah.
Pretty much. That's Sansa Stark over there. Are you sure? Well, why wouldn't he be sure? Oh, thanks, Podrick.
Yeah, and I gotta hand it to Brienne. She went and did the honorable thing. She went and did what she was tasked to do, but planned ahead for everything going to shit.
I seriously thought she was going to stab that one horse for a second. And I was like, enough with the animal cruelty in Westeros. Then I realized what was happening and we were cool again. It was a brief moment of I was like, don't you do it, homegirl.
Well, when she was riding out, she slashed something. It was either the horse's neck or its rope, and I couldn't really tell.
It was the rope. I actually went back and watched it again because I was about to be very upset that we were back to animal cruelty in Westeros.
Do they have a PETA in Westeros? Is that a thing?
If they did, then we would have never had direwolf puppies, so...
That's a good point. Yeah, it was a good start. I, of course, was a little disappointed that we, cut away from Arya so quickly. But I like the direction it's going. I'll be completely honest. Most of this episode had nothing to do with the books other than the general idea. But the Brienne, like I mentioned last week, all of that, all the Sansa stuff is brand new to me. And I'm like, yeah, this is so much better. Well, yeah, I love the books and I love the show, but... it is kind of nice seeing the show take a different take on it, and it makes both of them fresh for me. For those people who whine about the differences and the changes, it's like, who cares, man? Now you're getting two separate forms of awesome entertainment. Go with it. And speaking of which, let's cut to the chase. Dorne sending, someone in Dorne threatening...
Oh, please. We know who it was.
One of the Sand Snakes or all of them?
I'm pretty sure it was just, I don't know if she's their mother, but it's like, oh no, my boyfriend died, so now I gotta cut my hair and wear more eyeliner.
Well, I liked what they did with that. I'm still sad that we still haven't met the Sand Snakes, but at least we now have an idea of at least what Dorne looks like. And our first introduction with Prince Doran Martell.
Mister, I'm sitting in a chair and I don't let my henchman, whose clear purpose is to cut people.
Well, he's got gout.
Cut people?
That's what it is.
Oh.
Doran Martell has gout. That's why he doesn't travel.
Gotcha. See, that was not made clear to me. I just really thought he liked his balcony, which, to be fair, if I had a balcony and a rocking chair and that view, I'd probably sit there all the time, too.
Yeah, and fun thing about his bodyguard is he is the first real guy that they introduce in the books from one of the areas, one of the cities in Essos called Norvos. And even though it doesn't look like it, it's still kind of an axe, I guess. In the books, it's an axe. It's a big 6-foot axe. This thing is good enough that he's got. He's basically trained from childhood to marry his axe. Like, that is his wife for all intents and purposes. So
I feel like those types of relations would be very painful.
Well, his girlfriend is very cutting. But yeah, I really was excited to see him. Again, they can do whatever they want in the show. In the books, he's just got long white hair. In this one, he's a bald black dude. Who cares? He's a badass, and hopefully we get to see him kill people this season.
Yeah, you give somebody an awesome-looking weapon, I expect them to use it. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
And in this show, they are pretty good about that. They highlight a weapon, and it's just so you can see how cool it is before it gets covered in blood.
Yeah, I expect that thing to be dripping at some point.
But what did you think about Cersei and Jaime's response to that threat?
Well, I think Cersei's response was exactly what I expect from Cersei, which is, bring me their balls. That seems to be her go-to response bring me their head. I'm sorry. But
bring me everything round on their body.
Yeah. So I expected her to kind of go a little apeshit bananas, and she didn't disappoint. I have to say, that woman lives up to expectations.
Oh, I am loving it, because I remember when I asked about Bronn last week. Oh, 2 weeks ago, yeah. Are we going to have him? Are we not going to have him? Now we get him. And I did like how they kind of showed his fiancée, Lawless. Lawless. L-O-L-L-Y-S, Lollies, whatever.
That very plain looking, we should have pigeons were very relevant this episode.
Yeah. Again, I like the change. In the books, I'm pretty sure she's mentally retarded. But in this one, not only do we not worry about Bronn being a background noise, we get to see another pair up.
I know. They took my buddy comedy premise to heart here. They're giving me, just in this episode alone, let's see, how many pairings did we end up here? Because we've got Jaime and Awesome Sword Guy. We got Dario, Playboy, and Grey Worm doing their little buddy cops through the streets. We have Team Tyrion, which I've wanted forever. So I'm so excited about that one, which was already established. So that's a new one this episode. But then we have Arya getting back together with her, homeboy there.
Well, no one.
Yeah.
She's hanging out with no one.
She's hanging out with no one. That's why I felt I had to specify it was actually a person. And then we have, Jon Snow and Stannis, as I wrote in my notes, the courtship continues.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, and actually, I kind of like the whole Princess Myrcella with Gilly. Was actually kind of cute.
They were adorable. I really want to know more about Grayscale now. I'm with the little girl where it's like, wait, they did what now?
Yeah.
Excuse me? What almost happened to me? I would really, wait, what? And it was really kind of fitting that they were having that conversation and her mom walks in with you know nothing of the world.
Well, yeah, because you locked me in a goddamn tower for my entire life.
Yeah. You have no social experience. What's wrong with you? Yeah. But I did like that moment. I felt that was a nice little break to have, as I've said in our prep-episode, I like those little real people moments.
Yeah.
Where you just get a snippet of, hey, not everything's full batshit 24/7 in Westeros. Sometimes people are just people, and they have nice little moments with each other where nobody's getting stabbed or... So it was nice. It
humanizes them.
Yeah. And then we also have the pairing of Cersei and the Forbidden Maester.
Oh, what the hell is his name?
He has a name. I don't care.
Qyburn.
Qyburn.
Yeah, it's so weird because whenever I read a book, once I've read the name in my mind a couple of times, I pronounce it one way, even if it's wrong. So yeah, it's Qyburn, but with a fucking Q at the beginning. So in my head, he was Qyburn.
Yeah.
But now he's Qyburn. It's like, okay. One way or another, he's the necromancer, whatever you want to call that.
He's the touchy-feely on the dead things.
Yeah. He's got a necrophilia something going on there. Necrophilia touchy. Yeah.
So we ended up with so many pairings. And I'm happy that they're pairing people together because I feel like this is solving the big problem that I was leery of, which is the too many characters syndrome. So by teaming people up in all these different areas especially, I feel we're solving that problem.
Yeah, and you're right. And now by having Brienne and Podrick following Baelish and Sansa, that when we cut, we can kind of catch up with all four of them. Yeah. And hopefully at some point that's the same thing's going to happen when Jaime and Bronn get down to Dorne. We can get a little bit of more story time with all of them down there and maybe finally meet the freaking Sand Snakes.
Patience, because we have Team Tyrion going to meet Dragon Mama. So that wraps up a good bunch of people in one area. And then we've got, I'm just going to say Team Jaime going to Dorne.
Call it just Team JB. Yeah, Team JB, not Team Beebs. Bronin Lannister?
Well, I could just call him Team Where's My Dick Hand, but I feel that joke's overplayed at this point, so
Team Handsome Murderous Devils.
Ooh. I like that one. That one can stay. So yeah, we have them going to Dorne, and then I'm assuming because they're making such a fuss over the eldest daughter of the Lannister children.
Myrcella?
Yes.
No, wait, yeah. Yeah, Myrcella's that. Yeah, I'm sorry. The Grayscale girl is not Myrcella. I always get them confused, which is weird, because they're nothing alike.
Doesn't the Grayscale girl's name start with an S or something? Or Celestine? Something. I don't know. Anyway.
Philistine?
No, Celestine. I don't know. This is why they get names. This is why they get my names.
It's easier that way.
It's so much easier that way. So we've got Jaime heading down there. Team awesome, handsome bros. So that's gonna give us, I assume she's Mama Snake. Maybe, I don't know if she's the actual mother or if these are just an amalgamation of like bastard kids. That dude got around. That was well established, that dude got around.
I want to say she's the mother of a few of them, but maybe not all of them. It's been a minute since I read that part.
So we'll just say Widow Snake there, because that's essentially what she is.
Widow Snake.
Widow Snake.
Shireen is his daughter's name. Grayscale girl.
Oh, okay. Well, I wasn't terribly off. That's better than Marcella. Come on.
You're right. I'm a terrible person.
Yeah.
So that's okay.
So I take this round. Ding for me. That whole scene with Widow Snake, though, I was having flashbacks only because it's my Easter tradition that I watch the 10 Commandments on television. And all I could think of was Nefertiri walking in on Yul Brynner like, he has killed our child, and what are you going to do about it? Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. Sounds good.
You're gonna sit in your throne and do nothing. What king of Egypt are you? Like, she was channeling something there, and I loved it. Well,
that's the whole point. That's why you never really knew about Dorne in the first 3 novels, because they were cautious. He's cautious. You know, Dorne was the very last of the kingdoms to be quote-unquote conquered, but it was more of a, they basically reached an agreement because, you know, the other kingdoms couldn't actually conquer Dorne. Like, even when they did, the moment the soldiers moved out, the people of Dorne murdered everyone else. Oh, hey, look, you just have a garrison? Oh, the garrison's dead. Oops. And too many of the people were nomadic and know their way around the desert. So whenever someone would go, oh, hey, look, a city, let's go burn it, let's go kill everyone. They get there and there's no one there.
Well, it's a good way to set up a kingdom.
They are the Texas of the 7 kingdoms. Nominally apart, but really just kind of there and pretty dang independent. That set the Dorne stuff up pretty well. What'd you think about the election?
I kind of saw the whole nominate Jon Snow thing coming, and I love Blind Guy.
Oh.
He just inherently builds up suspense because everything they ask of him is usually something that's contingent on him seeing what's going on. So.
And remember, he is technically the last known Targaryen in Westeros.
Yeah, well, I feel like a lot of people know about Dragon Mama at this point.
Well,
but I guess
that's why I said
really,
Westeros.
Yeah, I guess that's really contingent to a select group of people in King's Landing that actually know about her.
Yeah, and so that makes him, what, the great-great-uncle?
Yeah, I bought you the book with all the lineage in it. Don't ask me.
He old. But yeah,
Bitch be old.
and again, it was so much better than the books with Sam plotting and whining and bitching and moping and plotting. But they did show a good job. He's got balls when he uses them. He actually did make speeches in both versions, the show and the books. This was just so much more straightforward. And the fact that Sam actually got a burn in.
Yeah, I was like, oh, look at you with the zinger, Sam. Wow. Maybe you're not going to be terrible this season. Maybe.
Yeah, we're only 2 in.
But hey, it's a vast improvement in just 2 episodes.
It is.
So if this trend continues, he may actually be pretty tolerable by the end of this.
May. Hopefully.
May. Yeah.
Maybe that'll be something else they do better than the books. Not have Sam be a crying little bitch all the time.
I just feel there are so many things pulling Jon Snow. I'm kind of getting the impression where it's just like, yep, I run the wall now. Hey, wildling people, because I was nice to your dude, Mr. Mance. Come join my crew here at the wall, and now we march down to the north.
I don't think that's how they're going to play it. John is striking me now as even more cautious, and I think he's gonna go full emo on the whole responsibility thing.
I'm so over that.
No, you ain't seen emo, John. This isn't even his final form.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I just meant I'm over the no, I must stay at the wall. It's like, really? Can you just not? It'd be so much more interesting if you left for a little bit. He's
going to start wearing black eyeliner and reading bad poetry.
Well, he can borrow some from Snake Widow, because apparently she's stocked up. I'm in mourning. I must wear black everywhere. Again,
I liked how they did it. They're short, sweet, and to the point. And now he's in charge of the Night's Watch. And I like it, though, because I think he definitely doesn't like Stannis, but I think he respects Stannis, and out of all the options, I know he wants the Lannisters to die, of course.
Yeah.
So I think he's going to do what he can within his power to help Stannis. He's also a pretty moral guy. He's not going to just try and force the wildlings, but I think he's going to try and find some middle ground where he gets them to do something. But again, I've read important. The books. I don't want to guess too much because, again, I think the show is doing what it wants now. Yeah, and then we have your Dragon Mama making a major royal fuck up of everything this episode.
Yeah. Oh, did we establish that I really want to like her and she just makes it so hard?
Yeah, well, that whole the law is the law. Yeah, but sometimes you got to use common sense. When the city's about ready to boil over in pure chaos and violence, maybe you shouldn't do something that everyone with a half a brain would know is going to set it off.
Maybe, and I'm just throwing this out there, maybe she should understand that the land that she's coming from, and I feel like old dude needs to get on board with this too. You don't just march in and go, nope, we're doing it the way that I'm used to doing it at home. I don't care what y'all did before. We're doing it my way. Because it holds no bearing. And that's what the little guy who got beheaded was trying to point out is if you want to establish new authority, you have to use the old authority and start to convert it.
Yeah, it's really funny watching this because we're watching a fantasy version of exactly what happened when we invaded Iraq and Afghanistan.
Exactly. I was trying not to go there, but there's really no way to do that. You can't just go like, haha, I have brought you the West. Like...
That's okay, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, what's that do? Is that where John Wayne lives?
Yeah, so it didn't work out very well, and she started a large-scale riot. And then it was okay, though, because her eldest child came to visit.
I don't know what she'd been doing, but man, he took one whiff of her and flew off in a hurry, didn't he?
I honestly, I want to say that we're going to see some sort of metaphor for her becoming a wimp. The dragons know that she's now like this full of doubt, scared, wussy politician. And until she goes back to being a badass like she was just after, her husband died, that they don't want shit to do with her.
Yeah, we need the Khaleesi, not the Misa.
I honestly think that's kind of where they're going with this right now. Mom, you're kind of a wuss. Yeah. And if you can't tell, I'm a badass dragon, so peace.
Right? You want to control a dragon, you better prove that you're capable, and she's not doing that right now. She can't even control
her council.
Yeah, I was going to say her group of counselors. And I'm sorry. And she's so wavy. I was really waiting for them to set up in this episode too, where it's like, oh, I totally agree with you, old dude. Until I fuck my boyfriend and he tells me to do something different.
Yeah, well, thank God they avoided that. Like, they're still making sure she's a strong individual. She's a powerful woman, but she's got doubts, and she really doesn't have anyone to help her. As much as her council wants to, I don't think there's a single person there qualified to help her through what she's going through right now.
No, I think she needs to go down in her little tomb, unchain those dragons, and just sit down there and, like, smoke some herbs or something until they sort that shit out.
You ever gotten high with dragons? You want
right? To? Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking, she just needs to relax a little bit and, like, maybe, like, some peyote or something. She can go on a spirit quest with her dragons, and they can show her that she used to be a badass bitch who didn't take shit from fucking anybody.
Yeah. The only other thing in this episode that I wanted to hit on outside of her was just how interesting it was to have nobody show up again for Arya.
I was happy to see that they were at least going to, bring back the same actor for that, and we were going to have some continuity. Just from a viewer perspective, it makes it a lot easier for me to process in my brains.
And again, I'm all for it. I really think this will go a long way towards streamlining her story. And as much as I really look forward to it in the books, there was a whole lot of wasted time. We're taking hundreds and hundreds of pages of novel and making it an entertaining TV show. I'm cool. I just want to see her start her training to become a badass assassin.
I think we're on the way. I feel like maybe she's going to fall into the, you must go and fetch me water for 30 days.
I feel like they know, though, that Arya is one of the favorites, and so they get to do this. Then they know they can get away with it by promising us an Arya storyline and giving us 5 minutes with her.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we got 10 hours.
But I want them now.
But they're my hours and I want them right now.
Yeah, this is just me, being impatient. I love where they're going with it. This episode was a lot of fun to watch.
This episode was fun. And actually, comparing this episode to last week's episode was kind of a little bit of Snoresville.
Oh, yeah. And it's because they spent too much time setting up the whole season. You got to mix that shit in. And this episode, I think, did that. We kept the plot rolling, but we mixed a little bit of action and a little bit of mystery. And this is what the best episodes do.
They're following their own pattern, and I can't fault them for that. They're definitely, they have a set pattern in how they like to roll episodes out content-wise, and they stick to it. If 4 seasons have taught us nothing, they stick to their guns.
Yeah, no, I don't argue that at all.
Historically, with 12 episodes, episode 10 is going to be your big action episode, where if there's going to be a big battle or a big point of interest, action sequence, it's going to happen in episode 10. Then not episode 10,
11.
Episode 11.
Yeah.
And then episode 12 is going to be, hey, let's wrap up some stuff. Let's start some new stuff. Okay, bye.
Yeah. And that also means that by following a lot of their tradition, next episode is going to set up something for a little bit of a mid-season surprise or excitement.
Well, we have to set up for the inevitable Memorial Day break. Their version of the mid-season gap.
Yeah, which is, I mean, not immediately upon us, but it's getting closer.
Yeah, it's on there. We think we've got at least 3 for sure episodes before that weekend.
Yeah, so here's the hoping that...
super educated on calendar reading.
Well, here's the hoping it keeps up this pace. This episode was great. So I really did enjoy it. And I'm cool with the way they ended this one. And that's why I was so impatient last week, because I was hoping for something paced better like this week's episode. So mad props to you, HBO. You fed me what I needed. Now I can wait a week.
You gave me my fix. And you gave me a little bit better quality stuff this time. So I'll be back shopping next weekend.
Yes, they gave me the high-end Purina. Instead of the dry shit, I got the stuff out of the can. So I'm happy.
You got the Alpo instead of the puppy chow.
Yeah, anything else you wanted to hit on? I'm pretty much out. I hit everything I wanted to, and I'm pretty happy with it.
The one thing that we missed was... Oh, yeah, Cersei.
Oh, yeah.
Her little council meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe I forgot about that, too. I loved how her uncle just shut her down.
Basically got up and was like, I'm sorry, was your vagina saying something? Peace.
Yeah, Uncle Kevin was just like, oh, hey, look, you're surrounding yourself with yes men and trying to talk for the true and rightful king. Yeah, no, fuck you, I ain't standing for that shit. So he might not be a Tywin Lannister, but you can definitely tell it's his brother.
They're related, that's for sure. Which... a little bit refreshing to see the void filled, because Jaime's certainly not stepping up to the, hey, I'm going to challenge your batshit. So,
no, yeah, he never will, I don't.
And I'm not saying, oh, somebody needs to put her in her place. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is that she has to have some counterbalance on the scale of her crazy. Somebody has to be either talking some smack and filling that scale, or doing something to actively disperse her plans.
I will tell you, though, is I really think the show's going to run with that plot, and you are going to love it. Just be on the lookout. Maybe that'll even be our happy prior to their little mid-season break. But Cersei's going to get called out on her shit.
Somebody needs to, and the only person who did it, I mean, as far as verbally, an equal... to banter off of for her was Tyrion.
Yeah, and he's got a bounty.
And all the dwarves are gonna die. I feel so mad for all the dwarves and possibly children, because that group of bounty hunters that came in did not look like the brightest bunch from the Cabbage Patch.
They didn't really scream competence. They screamed, "Oh, hey, look, we found a short guy and killed him. Here you go. Give us money."
Short guy with curly hair. Here's a head. Thanks.
Oh yeah, and you could tell that they gave him the scar after they killed him.
Yeah, the post-mortem gash.
Yeah. See, he's even got a scar. Yeah, that didn't even heal yet.
That's a fresh wound and post-mortem. Nice try, though. And we didn't really talk about, though there wasn't too much to talk about with Tyrion and the spider. I feel like that's been a slow build because, again, it's falling into those, they're having real human moments.
Yeah, but they're actively moving. They have nothing going on in their lives other than getting to Volantis right now. And I feel like that was literally, this episode was just, hey, look, we haven't forgotten about them. They haven't forgotten about the viewers. They're just not doing shit.
This episode was brought to you by an imp in a box.
A drunk imp in a box.
Yeah, well, I don't feel like he was drunk on the ship. But he certainly got drunk after he came out of the first box.
And I did like how snarky they are to each other. But they're still, I mean, they're as close to friends as they're ever going to get. But they're just both such sarcastic people. It makes the dialogue great.
Yeah, their banter is phenomenal. And their back and forth. And it's reminiscent because Littlefinger and the spider used to have some pretty good banter in King's Landing, back and forth. And I just feel like we haven't got to see a lot we didn't really see too terribly much of the spider last season. He popped up in a couple of places, but he was maybe total screen time that I can recall 2 episodes.
Yeah, just a few minutes here and there to kind of help further along other plots, and that was it.
I mean, I'm excited, and those two, they do play well off each other. And I feel, even though the spider has an agenda, because nobody that came out of King's Landing pre-Joffrey, or, post-Joffrey's death did not leave King's Landing without some form of agenda. It's just what you do.
Yeah.
But I genuinely get the impression that he cares about Tyrion. Like, they have a solid friendship, and he's there trying to put his friend back together for ulterior purposes, but it also just seems like he cares. Why are you being so hard on yourself? You're kind of an awesome person.
And no, I'm liking it. I'm curious to see where this goes, because I'm trying to remember. I don't think the spider went with him to Volantis. I can't remember, but I don't think he did. So this too is like, yay, stuff I can't see coming.
Stuff you're not seeing coming, and stuff I'm like, yay, Team Snarkfest. Can I ride in that box too?
It's just, like I said, I am absolutely loving this season. I was a little bit worried that I was going to read the books and be like, oh, I can see all this. Okay, yeah, let's just see how it plays out. And then I don't want to be picky. I don't want to be a douche, but I was afraid, that I'd be like, oh, this part of the book was better.
No, I'm with you. I feel like we're getting the ball moving in a very interesting direction. And I'm curious to see. I'm actively enthused for a lot of characters that previously I've been like, meh.
Yeah.
And you know what I think it is? It's because I don't have to see freaking Bram and Hodor bringing me down.
Hodor. Oh, Hodor.
Seriously, though.
I love Hodor.
I love Hodor, too, but that storyline is going a whole lot of nowhere fast.
That's their most magical storyline, and I'm okay with not having it for a season. Melisandre's magical douchebaggery is good enough for a season. Let her do the Witch Queen fire thing.
Oh, good old fire crotch.
But that's it. Yeah, we've gotten off of the magical world a little bit. Haha, except for, of course, Arya's training.
Yeah, except for I just ripped my face off and became another man. Do you want to know what else I ripped off to? Ow.
It's cool. It's shape-shifting magic, right? I'm going to wear your face like a mask and pretend to be someone else.
I feel like the House of Black and White, brought to you by Ed Gein.
And if you don't get that reference, listeners, go look it up. You'll be amused.
Google that stuff. What is the protocol for a lampshade made out of breast skin? Nipples in or nipples out?
Oh, God. So on that note, I'm out of things to say.
On that note, I've scared you away.
I just can't top it.
Yeah, no, you cannot top lamps made out of breasts.
No.
Can't do it.
No.
So we're not even going to try. So with that, we will see you all next week. Thanks for listening. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. It makes my all-night editing so you all can watch this first thing Monday morning seem way more worthwhile.
Feed the ego.
Seriously, feed me. Feed me. No, I'm just happy we even have one person listening to it that's not us. Woo! With that said, once again, thanks for listening. You can get the audio version of this podcast over at scrumptiousunscripted.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter now. Give us a subscribe, hit that thumbs up, and Pappy, we will be back same bat time, same bat channel next week.
Yes, indeed we do.